The doctor didn't sugarcoat it. 8 months, maybe 9 if I was lucky, but luck hadn't been showing up lately. We can start treatment, he said, glancing at his tablet like he was reading off a grocery list. Chemo might buy you some time. Quality of life will decline, but... No. He looked up. Surprised, I think. Most people beg for more time. Mr. Brennan, I understand this is shocking, but... I said no. I shifted in the hospital bed. The IV pull in my arm reminded me I was already tethered to enough machines. No chemo, no radiation, no experimental trials, just pain management when it gets bad. He nodded slowly. Professional mask back in place. I'll have the palliative care team reach out. You should consider arranging your affairs. Family, estate planning. Already done. That was a lie, but he didn't need to know that. After he left, I stared at the ceiling tiles. White acoustic panels with little holes. I counted them once. 47 in my line of sight. My son arrived first. David, 42 years old, 6 feet tall, wearing a suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent. He had my jawline and his mother's eyes, cold blue, calculating. Dad. He sat in the chair beside the bed. Didn't take his coat off. How are you feeling? He flinched. Good. I was tired of polite fiction. The doctor called me, he said. 8 months. Jesus, Dad. Give or take. We need to talk about... He stopped. Looked at the door. Where's Kelly? Your sister's on her way. Traffic. He nodded, checked his phone. Checked it again 30 seconds later. I watched him. Really watched him. The way his knee bounced. The way his eyes kept darting to the door, the window, anywhere but me. Nervous energy. Or impatience. Dad, have you thought about what you want to do? With the house, the properties, the money? Your estate, he corrected. Smooth, practiced. You've got significant assets. We need to make sure everything's structured properly. Tax efficient, protected. From what? He blinked. What? Protected from what, David? Estate taxes, probate, the usual concerns. I let the silence sit. He filled it. I know a guy, a state attorney, top of his field. He could come by tomorrow, draw everything up properly, make sure your wishes are honored. My wishes? Yeah. He leaned forward. Whatever you want, Dad. We just want to make sure it's done right. The door opened. Kelly swept in like she owned the room. My daughter. 38, blonde highlights that cost a fortune, carrying a handbag that probably cost more than the highlights. She kissed my cheek. Perfume strong enough to cut through the hospital antiseptic smell. Daddy. She squeezed my hand. I came as soon as I could. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Her eyes were red. Real tears or a good performance? Hard to tell with Kelly. Hey, Kels. She pulled a chair next to David's. They sat shoulder to shoulder, united front. We were just talking about the estate, David said. Right. Kelly nodded. Daddy, we want to help. Whatever you need. Michael knows some people, too. Real estate trust specialists. Since so much of your wealth is in property? Michael. I kept my voice flat. Her husband, real estate broker who'd built his entire career on my name and connections. He just wants to help, Kelly said quickly. We all do. This is overwhelming, and we don't want you to worry about anything except getting comfortable. Getting comfortable, like I was checking into a spa. I appreciate that, I said. Let them think I bought it. They stayed for an hour. Talked about arrangements, treatment options I'd already refused, how they'd coordinate care. Kelly offered to move into the house. David suggested hiring a private nurse. They had it all figured out. When they left, they hugged me. Careful hugs, like I might break. The moment the door closed, the room felt different. Quieter. I wasn't hooked up to monitors yet. This was just a consultation suite. But I'd be moved to a private room tomorrow. Long-term palliative care setup. The kind of place where people came to die slowly. I pressed the call button. A nurse appeared. Different from the staff I'd met earlier. Older, maybe mid-40s. Dark hair pulled back. Sharp eyes that actually looked at me instead of through me. Can I get you something, Mr. Brennan? Water and information. She poured water from the pitcher. Handed me the cup. Waited. The private room they're setting up for me. What kind of access does it have? Secure wing. Family can visit any time. Medical staff, obviously. If you hire private care, they'd have clearance too. Cameras? In the hallways, not in patient rooms, privacy laws. And visitors sign in? At the desk. Yes. I nodded. She didn't move. You ask different questions than most patients, she said. Most patients aren't wondering if their kids are waiting for them to die. Her expression didn't change. No shock, no sympathy, just acknowledgement. You think they are? I think, I said slowly, that they started planning my funeral before they left this room. She collected the empty cup. Private care nurses see a lot. If you want someone observant, I know people. You're not assigned to this floor? I float. Fill in where needed. She checked the IV bag that wasn't attached to me yet. But I've worked long-term palliative before. It's different from acute care. Requires patience. And discretion? That too. She left. I made a note of her badge. Jenkins. No first name visible. My phone buzzed. David. Just checking in. You need anything tonight? I'm fine. Okay. Hey, that attorney I mentioned? He could stop by Thursday. Just a preliminary conversation. No pressure. Thursday was 3 days away. Sure, I said. Great. Love you, Dad. You too. I hung up, stared at the phone. Love you, Dad. The words felt rehearsed, like he'd practiced in the car. I opened my contacts, found my actual attorney, Gerald. We'd worked together for 20 years. Real estate deals, business partnerships, divorce. Thomas, I heard. How are you holding up? 8 months. He exhaled slowly. Christ, I'm sorry. Don't be. I need you to do something. Anything. David's going to bring someone to me, a state attorney. Probably Friday or next week. I want you to sit in. You don't trust his guy? I don't trust David. Silence. Gerald knew my kids, had watched them grow up, attended their weddings. He didn't argue. What are you thinking? He asked. I'm thinking I want to know what they want before I decide what they get. Okay, I'll clear my schedule. And Gerald, don't tell anyone about this call. Not your assistant, not your wife, nobody. Understood. I hung up. Set the phone on the side table. Through the window, the sun was setting, orange light cutting across the city skyline. I'd built half those buildings, not with my hands, with money, vision, pressure, and patience. I knew how to construct things, how to make deals that looked good on paper but left me holding all the leverage. My kids thought I was too old to understand their world. Too analog, too trusting. They were wrong about the trust part. I'd made my first million by 28, lost it by 30, made it back by 32, and never lost it again. You don't do that by trusting people. You do it by watching them, learning what they want, what they fear, what they'll sacrifice when cornered. David wanted security, status. He'd grown up wealthy but paranoid, always worried someone would take it away. His consulting business was solid but unspectacular. He lived well, but not extravagantly. Everything carefully managed. Kelly wanted approval, recognition. She'd married Michael because he looked good at parties. Started 3 businesses that failed quietly. Her Instagram showed a life of effortless luxury. The reality was maxed credit cards and borrowed status. Both of them thought I didn't notice. I noticed everything. The nurse, Jenkins, came back around 8. Brought dinner I wouldn't eat and pills I would. Your family seems concerned, she said, setting the tray down. They're concerned about something. She almost smiled. You want the private care number? Not yet, but soon. She left. I ate a few bites of something that might have been chicken. Took the pills, lay back. The ceiling tiles again. 47 holes per panel. How many panels in the whole room? How many holes total? Stupid thoughts. The kind your brain throws up when you're avoiding the big question. What do you do when you have 8 months and $60 million and you know your children are waiting for you to die? Most people would cry, rage, bargain. I started planning. By midnight, I had the outline. By 2 a.m., I had the details. By dawn, I knew exactly what I needed to do. Test them, not obviously, not cruelly, carefully. I'd give them chances. Opportunities to prove me wrong. I'd watch what they did when they thought I wasn't watching, listen to what they said when they thought I couldn't hear. And if they failed, I'd make sure they remembered these 8 months for the rest of their lives. The sun came up, harsh white light through the blinds. Nurse Jenkins brought breakfast. You look like you didn't sleep, she said. I didn't. Pain? Planning. She set down the tray. Orange juice, toast, scrambled eggs that were definitely powdered. When you're ready for that private care number, she said, ask for Rachel Moss. Tell her I sent you. She observant? Very. Discreet? Extremely. Does she hold grudges? Jenkins paused, looked at me directly. Why would that matter? Because I'm about to become very unpleasant, and I need someone who won't quit when things get ugly. Things are already ugly, Mr. Brennan. Most people just don't see it yet. She left. I ate the eggs. They were terrible. My phone buzzed. Kelly. Morning, Daddy. How'd you sleep? Fine. Good. Listen, I talked to Michael last night. He really wants to help. He's dealt with estate stuff before. His dad passed 2 years ago. The whole thing was a mess. He knows how to avoid that. I remember. Your father-in-law's estate took 18 months to settle. Pause. Right. But that's exactly why Michael knows what not to do. Anyway, he's free this afternoon if you want to talk. Just casual. No lawyers yet. Just family. Family. Sure, bring him by. Really? Oh, that's great. We'll come around too. Kelly? Yeah? Bring the kids. Longer pause. They're in school, Dad. It's Wednesday, early release. How did you... I pay attention. Bring them. Okay, yeah, of course. They'd love to see you. Would they? I hung up. Checked the time. 6 hours until the performance. I spent the morning being moved to my new room. Bigger, quieter, private bathroom, window overlooking the park, the kind of place where wealthy people came to die with dignity. The nurse who set up my IV was young, efficient, didn't make small talk. After she left, I tested the bed controls. Up, down, recline. The TV remote, the call button, the door lock. No cameras in the room. Good. I could lock the door from inside. Better. The closet was walk-in. Excessive for a hospital room. Inside, my clothes from the consultation suite, my shoes, my coat, my phone charger. I plugged it in, set the phone on the nightstand, made sure the screen was visible from the bed. Then I waited. Kelly arrived at 2 exactly. Michael behind her, carrying flowers. Lilies. My ex-wife had loved lilies. Kelly knew I hated them. Hey, Daddy. Kelly kissed my cheek, set the flowers on the table where I couldn't avoid smelling them. Michael. I nodded. Tom. Good to see you. You look good. We both knew it. Their kids shuffled in. Emma, 12, Jake, 9, both on phones. Both barely glanced at me. Say hi to Grandpa, Kelly prompted. Hi, Grandpa, they mumbled in unison. You can wait outside, Michael told them. They vanished instantly. Kelly sat. Michael stood. Power dynamics. So, Michael said, Kelly mentioned you might want to talk about the estate. Did she? Yeah. Look, I know this is uncomfortable. Nobody wants to think about this stuff. But trust me, having it organized now saves everyone headaches later. Everyone. Your kids, your grandkids, you want them taken care of, right? Of course I did. That wasn't the question. What do you think I should do? I asked. Michael relaxed. He thought I was asking advice. Really, I was testing his pitch. Honestly, put everything in a trust. Revocable while you're alive, then it converts. Avoids probate, minimizes taxes, clean distribution. Distribution. However you want it split. But typical is equal parts to the kids. Then they can decide about the grandchildren, their own estates, whatever. Equal parts. And the house? I asked. Kelly jumped in. We were thinking maybe it could go to David. Since he's closer, he could manage the sale. Or we could keep it as a family property. Investment. Not our family property, an investment. What about the business holdings? I asked. I had 6 commercial properties, 3 office buildings, 2 retail centers, 1 warehouse conversion that printed money. Liquidate, Michael said confidently. Too much to manage. Sell them, convert to liquid assets, simpler distribution. Simpler. Yeah, plus the market's hot right now. You'd get premium value. Premium value that Michael would probably broker. Collecting what, 6%? 7%? I let the silence stretch. Kelly fidgeted. Michael checked his watch. I'll think about it, I said finally. Sure, no pressure. But Dad, Tom, time matters here. 8 months sounds like a lot, but once you factor in legal processing, asset appraisals, tax filings, I said I'll think about it. He nodded, smiled. Of course. Absolutely. We're here to help. Whatever you need. They left 20 minutes later. Kelly hugged me again. Michael shook my hand. The kids never came back in. When the door closed, I lay back, stared at the ceiling. Different tiles here. Smooth, no holes. Just blank white panels. I counted them anyway. 28. My phone buzzed. Text from David. Michael called. Says it went well. Thursday still good for my guy? I replied. Yes. The chess pieces were moving. They didn't know they were playing yet. That was fine. They'd figure it out. The phlebotomist was cheerful, too cheerful, the kind of forced brightness that made you want to slap someone. "Just a little stick," she sang. I didn't bother responding. She took 4 vials, left humming. Nurse Jenkins came by during breakfast. "Your son's attorney is here early," she said. "Waiting in the consultation room down the hall?" "What time?" 8:30. You said 9? 30 minutes early. Eager. "Tell him I need to shower first." "You need help?" "I need privacy." She nodded. Left. I didn't actually shower. I sat on the bathroom counter and thought. David's attorney would come in with documents. Preliminary drafts. Nothing binding, he'd say. Just to start the conversation. Get things moving. Gerald would arrive at 9 like I'd asked. Walk in on an already started meeting. Look like the second opinion. The concerned friend checking in. That would tell me things. If David's guy bristled at Gerald's presence, it meant he'd been expecting a solo pitch. If he welcomed it, he was smoother than I thought. I got dressed, real clothes, button-down shirt, slacks. The consultation room was down the hall, private, glass walls with blinds. I could see David's attorney through the gap, mid-40s, expensive suit, wheeling a small briefcase. I opened the door. "Mr. Brennan." He stood, extended his hand. "Patrick Coleman, thank you for meeting with me." His grip was firm, confident. His smile showed teeth. "David speaks very highly of you," he said. "Does he?" "He's concerned, wants to make sure you're protected." "From what?" Coleman laughed. "Smooth. That's what I love about estate planning. Everyone asks that. Truth is, you're protecting your family from chaos, from fighting, from the state taking more than it should." He opened his briefcase, pulled out a folder. "I took the liberty of drafting some preliminary structures based on what David told me about your situation. Nothing's final, just conversation starters." He spread papers across the table, trusts, asset schedules, distribution charts. I didn't look at them. I looked at him. "How long have you known my son?" "About 6 months. We met through a mutual colleague." "Professional relationship?" "Mostly. We've had lunch a few times. Good guy, smart, very protective of you." Protective. The door opened. Gerald walked in. Coleman's smile tightened, just for a second, then smoothed out. "Gerald Haynes," Gerald said, extending his hand. "Tom's attorney." "Patrick Coleman, estate specialist." They shook, sized each other up. "I didn't realize you'd be joining us," Coleman said. "I didn't realize you'd start without me," Gerald replied. Smiled. Sat, point to Gerald. Coleman recovered quickly. "Of course, the more perspectives, the better. Estate planning is collaborative." Gerald pulled out a notepad. "Walk me through what you're proposing." Coleman launched into his pitch. Revocable living trust. Thomas Brennan as trustee while alive. Assets distributed equally. Tax optimization strategies. Probate avoidance. It all sounded reasonable, professional, standard. Gerald took notes. Asked questions. "Who appraises the assets?" Gerald asked. "We work with several certified appraisers. Independent, third party." "Who pays them?" "Typically the estate." "Before or after distribution?" Coleman paused. "Before. Standard practice." Gerald wrote something down. "And the successor trustees? They have full discretion over sale timing?" "Within the trust parameters, yes." "What parameters?" "Whatever Mr. Brennan specifies." "Such as?" Coleman glanced at me. "That's part of the planning conversation." Gerald smiled. "So currently, none. We're in the preliminary phase." Gerald set down his pen. "Patrick, let me be direct. You've drafted a structure that puts David and Kelly in complete control the moment Tom dies. They can sell assets when they want, how they want, to whom they want. They pay themselves trustee fees out of the estate. They hire the appraisers. They determine fair market value. They control everything." Coleman's smile vanished. "That's a cynical interpretation. It's an accurate one. The children are the natural choice for trustees. They know their father's wishes. They'll honor his legacy." "Will they?" Gerald looked at me. "Tom, have your kids asked what you actually want, or just how to structure the money transfer?" I didn't answer, didn't need to. Coleman stood. "Mr. Brennan, I understand you're getting conflicting advice. That's natural. But time is a factor here. If you want to minimize tax exposure, we need to act quickly. The longer you wait, the more likely I'll die before signing, I finished. His face went carefully blank. I wouldn't put it that way. How would you put it? Estate planning is time-sensitive, especially in situations like yours. Yes. At least he didn't sugarcoat it. Gerald gathered his notes. Patrick, thank you for coming. Tom and I will review your proposal. We'll be in touch. I really think we'll be in touch. Coleman packed his briefcase, shook my hand again. His palm was damp. Think about your family, Mr. Brennan, he said. They need certainty right now. He left. Gerald closed the door, sat back down. Jesus, Tom. Tell me. He's not wrong about the structure. It's standard. But the timing, the pressure, that's not standard. That's urgency. David's urgency or Coleman's? Both. Coleman gets paid either way, but he gets paid faster if you sign soon. And David what? Gerald exhaled. I don't know. Maybe he's genuinely worried. Maybe he wants to help. But Tom, this whole setup, it hands them everything. And once you're gone, there's no oversight. No accountability. They could liquidate your entire portfolio in a year, and there's nothing stopping them. Could they steal it? Not legally. It would be their money. But could they manage it poorly? Make bad decisions? Sell assets below value to buyers who slip them kickbacks? Yes, all of that's possible. I nodded. That's what I thought. What do you want to do? I want to wait. For what? More information. Gerald studied me. We'd known each other too long. He could read the calculations behind my eyes. You're testing them, he said. I'm watching. Tom. Gerald, I have 8 months, maybe less. I'm not spending it wondering if my kids love me or my money. I'm going to find out. And if it's the money. Then they'll learn an expensive lesson. He left. I sat alone in the consultation room. The papers Coleman had spread were still on the table. Trust agreements, asset schedules, signature blocks. I read them. Gerald was right. Everything looked standard. Professional. Except for one clause buried in page 12, successor trustees could amend distribution percentages if family circumstances change materially. Loophole. David and Kelly could renegotiate their split after I died, could cut out grandchildren, could redirect funds to shell companies, could do anything they wanted as long as they both agreed it was a material change. Clever. Probably Coleman's addition. Or maybe David's idea and Coleman's execution. Either way, it told me what I needed to know. I gathered the papers, walked back to my room. David called at lunch. Hey, Dad, how'd it go with Patrick? Fine. Just fine? He seems competent. He's great. Really knows his stuff. So you're thinking about moving forward? I'm thinking. Okay, well, don't think too long. I know Gerald's cautious, but sometimes you gotta trust the experts, you know? Patrick's the expert? Yeah, he's done hundreds of estates. He knows what works. I'm sure he does. Pause. You sound weird. You okay? Right. Yeah, sorry, stupid question. He cleared his throat. Anyway, let me know if you need anything. Love you. You too. I hung up. 2 hours later, Kelly called. Daddy, Michael talked to Patrick. Said the meeting went really well. Interesting. Michael talked to Patrick. It was informative, I said. Good, that's good. So you're going to sign? I didn't say that. Oh, I thought... Michael said Patrick thought you were ready to move forward. Patrick thought wrong. But Dad, we really need to get this sorted. For your protection, and ours, the grandkids, everyone. What do you need protection from, Kelly? I don't... What? You said for your protection. What are you protecting? I meant making sure everything's clear, legal, so there's no confusion later. Confusion about what? About what you wanted. Have you asked what I want? Silence. Kelly? Of course, Daddy. That's why we brought Patrick in, to help you organize your wishes. No, you brought Patrick in to organize my assets. That's different. I don't understand why you're being difficult. I'm not being difficult. I'm being careful. There's nothing to be careful about. We're your family. I know. That's what worries me. That's not fair. No, I agreed. It's not. I hung up. An hour later, Michael called. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Tom, it's Michael. Listen, I think there's been some miscommunication. Kelly's upset. She thinks you don't trust her. That's not what this is about. We're just trying to help. Give me a call back. Let's talk this through. Family to family. Family to family. I deleted the voicemail. By evening, I had 3 more texts from David. 2 from Kelly, 1 from Michael. I ignored them all. Nurse Jenkins brought dinner. You look pleased with yourself, she said. I kicked a hornet's nest. Intentionally? Very. She set down the tray. You need that private care number yet? Tomorrow. Can you arrange it? I'll have Rachel call you. Good. Tell her to bring references, and tell her I'm going to ask uncomfortable questions. She'll love that. Jenkins left. I ate dinner, something that might have been meatloaf. Tasted like cardboard. My phone buzzed. David again. Dad, what's going on? Kelly says you're upset. Did we do something wrong? I stared at the message. Let it sit unanswered. What had they done wrong? They'd shown their hand too early, pushed too hard. Let me see the machinery before they'd polished the gears. Rookie mistake. I'd taught them better than that. Or maybe I hadn't. Maybe I'd taught them to want things, to take things, to see opportunities and seize them. Maybe this was my fault. No, I wasn't sentimental, I was angry. And anger, properly channeled, was useful. I opened my laptop, started a document. Observations, day 4. I wrote down everything. The meeting with Coleman, the phone calls, the texts, the coordinated pressure. Then I wrote down questions. How much do they need? How much do they want? How far will they go? I'd find out. The tests were about to get harder. Gerald called at 9 the next morning. I was mid-breakfast, scrambled eggs that tasted like paste. I've got preliminary information on Coleman, he said. You're not going to like it. Tell me. He's been involved in 4 similar cases over the past 6 years. All wealthy, terminally ill clients, all with children as beneficiaries, all resulted in estates being liquidated quickly and quietly. Criminal charges? None that stuck. 2 civil suits, both settled with NDAs. But I talked to an attorney who represented one of the families. Off the record, he said Coleman works with a network, estate attorneys, appraisers, brokers. They systematically undervalue assets, push quick sales, and take cuts all the way down. How much? He estimates 30 to 40% of estate value disappears into fees and artificially low sale prices. I set down my fork. And David doesn't know this? I don't know. Coleman's legitimate enough on the surface. Good reviews, proper credentials. If you don't dig deep, he looks clean. Dig into David. What? I need to know if David researched Coleman, email records, search history, anything that shows he knew who he was bringing to me. Tom, that's necessary. If David's just naive, I can work with that. If he's complicit, that's different. Gerald sighed. I'll need access to David's devices or accounts. Can you get it? Not legally. I didn't ask if it was legal. I asked if you could get it. Silence. I know someone. Private investigator. Discreet. Use him. Tom, I need to know if he did it on purpose. And if he did, then I'll decide what that costs him. I hung up. Rachel brought fresh water. You're escalating. I'm investigating. Same thing. No. Investigation seeks truth. Escalation seeks confrontation. And which are you really doing? I didn't answer. That afternoon, Kelly came alone. No kids. She looked tired, thin. Her makeup couldn't quite hide the circles under her eyes. Hey, Daddy. Hey, Kels. You okay? Not really. She sat, folded her hands. Michael and I are fighting. About what? About you, about money, about everything. Tell me. She took a breath. He thinks we should push harder. He says you're being stubborn and we need to get everything signed before you're too sick to make decisions. I told him you need space, and he said space is a luxury we don't have. What do you think? I think I'm tired of everyone treating this like a business transaction. You're my father, and all anyone can talk about is estate planning and asset protection and legal structures. I just want to sit with you and be sad. Her voice broke. She cried. Real ugly crying. Not performative, just grief. I took her hand. I'm sorry, Kels. For what? For making this harder than it needs to be. You're not making it hard. It is hard. We sat in silence, her hand in mine. For a moment, she was just my daughter again. Not a beneficiary, not a suspect. Just my little girl who didn't want to lose her dad. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, silenced it. Michael? I asked. Yeah, he wants to know what you said. What are you going to tell him? Nothing. This conversation is ours. She stayed for 2 hours. We didn't talk about money or wills or planning. We talked about Emma and Jake, about Kelly's failed businesses, about her marriage, about regrets. When she left, she kissed my cheek. I love you, Daddy. Whatever happens with all the other stuff, I love you. I love you too, Kels. After she left, Rachel closed the door. That was real, she said. I know. So what does that change? Nothing. People can love you and still betray you. Sometimes that makes it worse. Rachel nodded. Your investigator friend. What's he looking for? Evidence of intent. And if he finds it, then I'll know who I'm really dealing with. And if he doesn't, then I'm paranoid and cruel, and my kids will inherit $60 million they'll probably waste. You sound like you've made peace with that. I've made peace with not knowing until I know. David called that evening. I almost didn't answer, then did. Dad, we need to talk. About what? About Patrick Coleman. I've been doing research. Some things came up. My heart rate spiked. Rachel noticed, checked the monitor. What things? I kept my voice level. Civil suits, complaints. Nothing proven, but enough smoke that I'm concerned. I shouldn't have brought him to you without vetting him better. Why didn't you? Because he was recommended by a colleague and I was rushing. I'm sorry, Dad. I screwed up. He sounded genuine, embarrassed, angry at himself. What are you going to do about it? I asked. I already fired him. Told him we're going in a different direction. And I talked to Gerald. He's recommending someone else. Someone he's worked with for years. Clean record, conservative approach. Gerald knows? I called him this morning, after I found the complaints. He's pissed at me for not checking first. So David found the information himself, before Gerald's investigation could turn up anything incriminating, which meant either A, David was genuinely naive and fixing his mistake, or B, David knew Gerald was investigating and was getting ahead of it. Dad, you there? I'm here. I know I've been pushing too hard. Kelly told me about your conversation. She's right. I'm treating this like a business problem because I don't know how to treat it like a personal one. But I'm going to try. Okay? Okay. I love you, Dad. I love you too, David. I hung up. Rachel raised an eyebrow. Well, I can't tell if he's good or if he's smart. Those aren't mutually exclusive. No, but they require different responses. My phone rang again. Gerald. He got ahead of me, Gerald said without preamble. David called me this morning. Confessed about Coleman. Said he did research and felt terrible. Asked for a recommendation for someone clean. Do you believe him? I don't know. The timing's suspicious, but his remorse seemed genuine, and he made a point of saying he wanted someone conservative, someone who wouldn't push you. Covering his tracks? Maybe. Or genuinely trying to fix it. Your investigator find anything? Still working on it. But Tom, David's search history shows he looked into Coleman's background yesterday. Multiple searches, civil case lookups, bar association records. If he knew about Coleman's history before he brought him to you, he hid it well. Or he's hiding it now. That's circular reasoning. It's caution. Gerald sighed. What do you want me to do? Keep digging, but carefully. If David's innocent, I don't want to destroy our relationship. If he's guilty, I don't want him to know I know until I'm ready. Ready for what? For the truth to matter. That night, I barely slept. Pain was worse. Rachel increased my medication. I let her. I dreamed about my ex-wife, Anne. Cancer, too. Faster than mine. 6 weeks from diagnosis to funeral. In the dream, she sat in Rachel's chair. You're making this harder than it needs to be, she said. They're lying to me. Maybe. Or maybe you're so convinced they're lying that you can't see the truth. What's the truth? That people are complicated. That love and greed can coexist. That your children are flawed because you're flawed and you taught them to be afraid of losing everything. I taught them to be strong. You taught them to be paranoid, like you. Is that my fault? Does it matter? They're grieving. You're all handling it badly. But Thomas, if you die at war with them, that's all they'll remember. Not the good years, not the love, just the fight. What if they deserve the fight? Then you'll win, and you'll die alone and angry and right. Is that enough? I woke up. Rachel was standing over me, concerned. You were talking in your sleep, she said. What did I say? You said, Anne, I can't. Then you stopped. I rubbed my eyes. What time is it? 4 a.m. You should try to sleep more. Can't. Too many thoughts. Want to talk about them? No. Want me to call someone? Who would I call? Rachel didn't answer, just adjusted my pillows, brought fresh water. Mr. Brennan, can I say something? You're going to anyway. You're right, I am. She sat. You hired me to observe. That's terrible. Your children are handling it badly. That's normal. You're testing them. That's understandable, but you're also punishing them. And that's going to haunt all of you. I'm punishing them? By withholding certainty. By making them guess. by treating love like a commodity they have to earn. Yes, you're punishing them. They're trying to steal from me. Maybe, or maybe they're trying to protect themselves from a world you taught them was dangerous. Either way, this path you're on, it doesn't end well for anyone. You don't know that. I've watched this movie before. Different cast, same ending, everyone loses. I stared at the ceiling. 1,316 holes. What should I do differently? I asked. Tell them the truth. Tell them you're scared. Give them a chance to prove you wrong. And if they don't? Then at least you'll know, and you can decide what that's worth. She left me alone with that thought. By morning, I'd decided. I'd give them one more test. One clear, obvious chance. And if they failed, we'd be done. Gerald came by Wednesday afternoon. He brought the new attorney, Ellen Price. Late 50s, gray hair pulled back, no-nonsense expression. She wore a simple suit and carried a worn leather briefcase that looked like it had survived decades. Mr. Brennan. She shook my hand. Firm, brief. Gerald speaks highly of you. He speaks cautiously about most people. She smiled. That's why I trust his judgment. We sat. Rachel brought coffee. Ellen declined. Gerald accepted. Gerald explained your situation. Ellen said, you want estate planning that protects your legacy without putting your children in complete control. That's one way to put it. What's another way? Ellen nodded. That's reasonable. I've drafted a trust structure with several safeguards. Let me walk you through it. She pulled out documents. Clear, simple, no buried clauses. David and Kelly are beneficiaries, not trustees. I've recommended a corporate trustee, a bank trust department. They'll manage the assets according to your specific instructions. What instructions? Whatever you want. You can specify that properties can't be sold for 5 years, that distributions happen quarterly, that certain assets must be preserved. Whatever matters to you. Can the kids challenge this? They can challenge anything, but an irrevocable trust is hard to break, especially if your instructions are clear and reasonable. And if they claim I wasn't of sound mind when I signed? That's why I require a capacity assessment. An independent psychiatrist will evaluate you, confirm you understand the decisions you're making, its protection for everyone. I looked at Gerald. You trust her? Completely. I've worked with Ellen for 15 years. She's conservative, careful, she doesn't play games. Ellen leaned forward. Mr. Brennan, I don't know your children. I don't know your family dynamics. But I do know that most estate conflicts come from ambiguity. People fighting over what you really wanted versus what's written down. My job is to eliminate ambiguity. By doing what? By writing exactly what you want in language so clear that no one can misinterpret it. If you want your children to inherit but not control, we do that. If you want assets preserved for grandchildren, we do that. If you want everything liquidated and donated to charity, we do that. But whatever we do, it's explicit. I liked her. Give me a few days to review, I said. Of course, Gerald has my contact information. Call when you're ready. She left. Gerald stayed. What do you think? He asked. I think she's competent. High praise. I'm cautious. You're paranoid, but in this case, it's probably healthy. Gerald set down his coffee. Tom, I need to tell you something. About David. About your investigator. He finished his preliminary report. My chest tightened. And? David's search history is clean. No evidence he researched Coleman before bringing him to you. His emails show the referral came from a business colleague who'd used Coleman for their own estate planning. No red flags. So he's innocent. Of knowing about Coleman's history? Probably. Of being overeager and careless? Definitely. But Tom, there's more. What? Kelly's different. I went still. Different how? Your investigator accessed her email. She's been in contact with Coleman independently. Started 3 weeks before David brought him to you? What kind of contact? Questions about estate planning. Specific questions about trust structures and how to challenge them. About what happens if a beneficiary contests a will. About executor authority. She was planning this. She was researching. Whether she was planning to challenge your estate or just educating herself, I don't know. But Tom, the timing's suspicious. Does David know? Not based on the email trail. Kelly's conversations with Coleman were separate. She used her personal email, not anything David had access to. I felt something crack inside me. What else? She asked Coleman about something called undue influence. Specifically, whether a private nurse could be accused of manipulating a patient into changing their will. Rachel. Kelly was building a case to challenge anything I signed while Rachel was present. She's been playing me this whole time. The tears, the vulnerability, The fights with Michael, all of it was set up. You don't know that? Yes, I do. That's not grief. That's strategy. Gerald looked uncomfortable. What are you going to do? I'm going to give her exactly what she's expecting, and then I'm going to destroy it. Tom? No. You were right before. I've been cautious, careful, testing. But Kelly just showed me she's not interested in passing tests. She's interested in winning. So you're going to war. I'm going to win. After Gerald left, I called Rachel in. Kelly's been planning to challenge my estate, I said. She's been in contact with Coleman for weeks. She's researching undue influence specifically related to private care nurses. Rachel's expression didn't change. That's not surprising. You knew? I suspected. Kelly's too sharp to come at this directly. She's been watching me, calculating. I figured she'd try to undermine my credibility eventually. Does that bother you? Should it? I'm not doing anything wrong. If she wants to accuse me of manipulation, let her try. I keep meticulous records. Every conversation, every decision, every interaction, she won't find leverage. But she'll try. Of course she'll try, because she's desperate. Desperate for what? Rachel sat. Mr. Brennan, your daughter is in debt. Serious debt. I didn't want to say anything without confirmation, but I've been watching. The designer clothes, the expensive car, the private school tuition. It's all leveraged. She needs your money to save herself from collapse. How do you know this? Because I've seen it before. The performance, the careful image management, the casual mentions of expenses and obligations. She's drowning, and your estate is her life raft. David? Different situation. David's stable, comfortable. He wants security, but he doesn't need rescue. Kelly needs rescue. I processed that. So when she cried about fighting with Michael, probably real. Because Michael knows they're underwater and he's panicking. Kelly's fighting to keep up appearances while Michael's fighting to stay solvent. Christ. I'm sorry, but you asked for observation. Does David know about Kelly's situation? I don't think so. Their conversation seems surface level, coordinated but not intimate. I think Kelly's playing her own game. I grabbed my phone, called Gerald. I need you to dig deeper on Kelly. Financial records, credit cards, loans, everything. Tom. She's in debt. Bad debt, and she's positioning to challenge my estate while pretending to grieve. I need to know how bad it is. This is getting dangerous. It's already dangerous. I'm just catching up. I hung up. Rachel stood. Mr. Brennan, what are you planning? I'm planning to give Kelly exactly what she deserves. Which is? A lesson in what happens when you mistake patience for weakness. Rachel looked worried. Sir, don't. I know what you're going to say. That this is revenge, that it's cruel, that it won't heal anything. You're right. I don't care. You should care. Why? Because they're my children? Because I should love them unconditionally? I do love them. That's why this hurts. That's why I'm so goddamn angry. Anger isn't going to... Anger is all I have left. My voice broke. I have 8 months, maybe less. My son brought a con man to my bedside. And you want me to what? Forgive them? Understand them? Let them win because they're family? Rachel didn't answer. Tell me, I pressed. What would you do? She was quiet for a long time. I'd do exactly what you're doing, and I'd regret it every day afterward, but I'd do it anyway, because some betrayals can't be forgiven. They can only be answered. Thank you. Don't thank me. I just admitted I'm as broken as you are. She left. I lay back, stared at the ceiling. 1,316 holes. I'd counted them so many times I saw them when I closed my eyes. My phone buzzed. Kelly. Hey, Daddy. Just checking in. How are you feeling? I stared at the message, felt rage build. Then I replied, tired, but peaceful. I think I'm ready to finalize the estate planning. 3 dots appeared immediately. Typing. Really? That's wonderful. Do you need me to coordinate anything? No. Gerald's handling it. Should be done by end of week. Okay, that's great. I'm so glad you're finding peace with this. Peace. She thought I was surrendering. Me too, Kels. Love you. Love you too, Daddy. I set down the phone. Rachel was right. This wouldn't heal anything, but I'd die knowing I'd seen them clearly. And they'd live knowing I had. The psychiatrist came Thursday morning. Dr. Helen Morrison, mid-60s, kind eyes, carrying a tablet and a notebook. Mr. Brennan, I'm here to assess your decision-making capacity. She sat, smiled. This isn't invasive. Just questions to confirm you understand the choices you're making. Fire away. We spent an hour talking. She asked about my diagnosis, my timeline, my understanding of estate planning. She asked about my family relationships, my assets, my wishes. I answered clearly, calmly, showed no confusion, no delusion, no fog. You seem very clear-headed, she said finally. I am. And you're certain about the decisions you're making? Completely. She made notes. I'll submit my report to Ellen Price. Based on this conversation, I see no reason to question your capacity. After she left, Ellen called. Dr. Morrison's report is excellent. You're cleared to sign. When would you like to do this? Tomorrow, Friday, morning. I'll prepare the documents. You'll need 2 witnesses. I'll bring my assistant, and one of the hospital staff can serve as the second. Make it Rachel, my nurse. Pause. Mr. Brennan, that could create problems. If your children challenge the will and claim undue influence, then they'll have to prove it. Rachel's professional. She's kept meticulous records. Let them try. Okay, if that's what you want. It is. I hung up. Called Gerald. Financial report on Kelly? Just got it. Tom, it's worse than you thought. How bad? She's got 3 maxed credit cards, a home equity line that's underwater, personal loans from 2 separate private lenders at predatory rates. She's juggling minimum payments and falling behind. Total debt? Around $800,000. Maybe more if there are loans I haven't found. I whistled. Michael, no? Hard to say. The loans are in Kelly's name, but the home equity affects them both. He has to know some of it. So when I die, she's instantly liquid, can pay everything off, and still walk away comfortable. I thought about her tears, her vulnerability, her performance. Send me the full report, I said. Tom, what are you planning? I'm planning to sign a will tomorrow. Which will? The one Ellen drafted. Not the decoy? No, the real one, with the trust structure, the corporate trustee, the conditions. And David and Kelly? They'll get access to income, quarterly distributions, but they won't get control, won't get to liquidate, won't get to solve their problems with my money. They'll fight you. Let them. Dr. Morrison certified my capacity. Ellen's trust structure is bulletproof, and I'll have months of documented behavior showing exactly why I made these decisions. They're your children. They're adults who made choices. Now they'll live with consequences. Silence. I'll be there tomorrow. Good. I want you in the room when I sign. I want you to see their faces when I tell them. You're telling them tomorrow? Right after I sign. I want them to know while I'm still alive. I want to watch them process it. Tom, that's cruel. It's honest. I hung up. Rachel came in. You're signing tomorrow. Yes. And then what? Then I tell them, together. No ambiguity, no wondering, just truth. What if they break? Then they break. Rachel sat. Mr. Brennan, I need you to understand something. When you do this, you can't take it back. Not the structure. That can be changed while you're alive. But the emotional damage, the betrayal they'll feel, that's permanent. They betrayed me first. Did they? Or did they just fail your test? What's the difference? Intent. If they knew they were being tested and chose greed anyway, that's betrayal. If they were just scared kids making bad decisions in a crisis, that's different. Kelly's been planning this for weeks. Kelly's drowning financially. People who are drowning don't think clearly. They grab whatever's closest. That doesn't excuse it. No, but it explains it. An explanation matters when you're deciding how to respond. Are you defending her? I'm asking you to be certain, because tomorrow you're going to burn bridges. I want to make sure you've counted the cost. I looked at her. What cost haven't I counted? I'm already alone. Not yet, but you will be. She left me with that. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. My mind ran scenarios, conversations, reactions. David would be confused, angry, defensive. Kelly would cry, would accuse, would try to manipulate. Michael would calculate, would see the numbers and understand immediately what I'd done. And I'd sit there, watching, knowing I'd won, except it didn't feel like winning. It felt like amputation. By dawn, I was exhausted. Rachel brought breakfast. I didn't eat. Second thoughts? She asked. Fourth or fifth thoughts. That's normal. Is it normal to hate your children for wanting what you've spent your whole life building? I don't know if hate is the right word. What is the right word? Grief. You're grieving who you thought they were. That's different than hating who they are. Feels the same. It doesn't. Hate is permanent. Grief heals. I don't have time to heal. No, but they do. What you do today affects their healing, not yours. Ellen arrived at 10, Gerald with her. They brought documents. Rachel witnessed them arrive, made notes. Everything's ready, Ellen said. We'll go through each section. You'll initial each page. Sign at the end. Gerald and Rachel witness. Then it's filed. How long? 30 minutes. Do it. We started. Ellen read each section aloud. The trust structure, the corporate trustee, the distribution conditions, the preservation requirements. David and Kelly would receive quarterly distributions. Enough to live comfortably, not enough to be reckless. The properties couldn't be sold for 5 years. After that, sale proceeds would go back into the trust, invested conservatively. Grandchildren's education funds were protected, separated, untouchable. If David or Kelly contested the will, they'd forfeit their distributions for 2 years. It was thorough, careful, ungenerous. I initialed every page, signed at the end. Gerald and Rachel witnessed. It's done, Ellen said. Filed with my office. Copy to the trust department. Thank you, she packed up. Mr. Brennan, I hope this brings you peace. It brings me clarity. After she left, Gerald sat. You're really going to tell them today? This afternoon. I've asked them both to come at 2. Together? Together. Tom, I want them in the same room. I want to see how they react to each other, whether they've been coordinating or working separately. What if it destroys them? Then it destroys them. Gerald, I'm past protecting them from reality. He left. Rachel stayed. You should rest, she said. You'll need energy for this afternoon. I'm fine. You're not fine. Your pain levels are higher. You're running on anger and stubbornness. It's gotten me this far. She didn't argue, just adjusted my medication. Brought water, sat in her corner. Rachel? Yes? Thank you. For what? For being honest, for not pretending this is okay? It's not okay, but it's yours to do. At 1:30, my phone buzzed. David. On my way. Traffic's light. Should be there by 2. Then Kelly. Running a few minutes late, there by 2:15. I replied to both. See you soon. David arrived first, alone. He looked nervous. Hey, Dad. Kelly coming? Soon. Okay, what's this about? Your text sounded serious. It is serious, but I want to wait for your sister. He sat, checked his phone, bounced his knee. Kelly arrived at 2:20, breathless, apologetic. Sorry, accident on the bridge. Traffic was terrible. She kissed my cheek, sat beside David. They looked at each other. Some silent communication I couldn't read. Thanks for coming, I said. Of course, Kelly said. What's going on? I finalized my estate planning today. They both went still. That's great, David said carefully. With Ellen, Gerald's recommendation? Yes. And everything's sorted? Kelly asked. Everything's explicit. Silence. Okay, David said. So what does that mean? For us? It means I've made decisions about my legacy, about what you'll inherit and how you'll inherit it. Can you tell us? Kelly's voice was tight. I can tell you that everything goes into a trust. Corporate trustee, you'll receive quarterly distributions, but you won't have control. David blinked. What kind of control? Any kind. You can't sell properties. Can't liquidate assets. Can't access principal. You get income. That's all. Kelly's face went white. Daddy, why would you? Because I don't trust you to manage it responsibly. The words landed like stones. That's not fair, David said. We've been trying to help. You brought Patrick Coleman to my bedside, a man with a history of defrauding estates. Either you didn't research him, which makes you incompetent, or you did and didn't care, which makes you malicious. Neither version makes me confident in your judgment. David's jaw tightened. I made a mistake. I apologized. I fixed it. After you got caught? No, after I found out. There's a difference. I turned to Kelly. And you. You've been in contact with Coleman for weeks, before David brought him to me, researching how to challenge wills, asking about undue influence. Her face crumpled. That's not... I was just... You were planning to fight me, while pretending to grieve, while crying about fights with Michael, while performing vulnerability. I'm not performing. I'm scared. Of what? Of losing everything. She was crying now. Real tears, desperate. Daddy, Michael and I are drowning. We're in so much debt. I can't keep up. I can't save us. And I'm terrified of what happens if your money doesn't fix this. So you plan to steal it. It's not stealing if it's my inheritance. David stood. This is insane. Dad, we're your children. We love you. Maybe we've made mistakes, but who hasn't? You're punishing us for being human. I'm protecting my legacy from being liquidated to pay your sister's debts and your laziness. My laziness? David's voice rose. I've worked my whole life, built a career, supported my family. What more do you want? I want you to want me more than my money. Silence. Kelly sobbed. We do want you, more than anything. Then why does every conversation end with estate planning? Why have neither of you asked how I'm feeling, what I need, what my last month should look like? Everything is about after, about distribution, about control. Because we don't know what else to do, David said. His voice broke. Dad, we're losing you, and we're terrified. So yes, we're focusing on logistics because logistics we can control. We can't control cancer, can't control grief, but we can control planning. That's bullshit, I said. You're focusing on logistics because logistics equal money, and money is what you actually care about. Kelly stood. That's not true. Prove it. How? Walk away, both of you. Tell me right now that you don't care about the inheritance, that you'd rather have these last months with me than any amount of money. Prove that I matter more than the assets. They looked at each other. Neither spoke. That's what I thought, I said. Dad, David started. Get out, both of you. Please. Kelly reached for my hand. I pulled away. Out. They left, Kelly crying, David rigid with fury. When the door closed, Rachel came over. Well, she said, you did it. Yeah. Feel better? No. Going to anyway? Probably not. She squeezed my shoulder, left me alone. I stared at the ceiling. 1,316 holes. And for the first time since my diagnosis, I cried. The weekend was silent. No calls, no texts, no visits. I told myself that was fine. That was what I wanted. Rachel didn't believe me. You're miserable, she said Saturday morning. Misery comes with the territory. You're miserable because you're alone. I chose alone. Did you, or did you choose right? There's a difference. Not to me. She left it alone. Gerald called Saturday afternoon. David called me. He's furious. Kelly's devastated. They want to know if you'll reconsider. No. Tom? I said what needed saying, did what needed doing. If they want to challenge it, they can, but I'm not changing my mind. What if they apologize? For what? For being caught? For being human? Rachel was right. They didn't betray me, they just failed my test. But Gerald, that's the same thing. I needed them to choose me without conditions. They couldn't. Because you made it impossible. You set up a test where the only way to win was to not care about money at all. But Tom, money matters. It affects their lives, their children's lives. It's not evil to care about security. It's evil to fake love to secure it. Did they fake love? Or did you decide they faked it because they also cared about inheritance? I didn't answer. Tom, I've known you 30 years. You're the most cynical man I've ever met. You assume the worst about everyone. Usually you're right, but sometimes you're so busy looking for betrayal that you miss genuine human complexity. Meaning? Meaning maybe David and Kelly love you and care about money. Maybe Kelly's desperate and grieving. Maybe they're flawed and trying. But you've decided those things are mutually exclusive, so you force them to choose. And when they couldn't choose perfectly, you cut them off. What should I have done? I don't know, but this isn't working. They're living devastated. And 6 months from now, you'll be gone, and they'll spend the rest of their lives wondering if their father ever actually loved them. He hung up. I sat with that. Rachel brought lunch. I didn't eat. You're thinking, she said. I'm wondering if I made a mistake. Did you? I don't know anymore. Gerald says I'm punishing them for being human, that I made an impossible test. Did you? Maybe. Probably. I wanted them to prove they loved me without wanting anything, but Gerald's right. That's not how people work. Love isn't pure, it's messy, complicated. People can love you and still want your money. That doesn't make the love fake. Rachel nodded. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. I can't take back what I said. Can't undo the trust. Can't erase Friday. No, but you can move forward differently. How? That's your decision. But Mr. Brennan, you have maybe 6 months left. You can spend them at war, or you can spend them in some form of peace. Neither option is perfect, but one is survivable. Sunday morning, I woke up to pain. Bad pain. The kind that cut through medication. Rachel increased my dose. It helped, but not enough. We might need to switch to something stronger, she said. Not yet. You're suffering. I'm thinking. Think with less pain. I think clearer when it hurts. She didn't argue, just stayed close. By noon, I'd made a decision. I called David. He answered on the 5th ring. Yeah. Can you come by? Alone? Silence. Why? Because we need to talk. Really talk. Not perform, not test, just talk. When? Now, if you can. I'll be there in an hour. He arrived in 40 minutes. Looked like he hadn't slept. Unshaved. Red eyes. Hey, he said. Hey, sit. He sat. Didn't take off his coat. I'm sorry, I said. He blinked. What? I'm sorry. For Friday. For testing you. For making it impossible to win. Dad, let me finish. You were right. That's not fair. You're not perfect. Neither am I. But I've been treating this like a trial instead of a relationship. David's eyes filled. I'm sorry, too. For Coleman, for pushing, for not asking what you needed instead of what I thought you should do. You were scared. I was. I am. I don't know how to lose you. You don't have to lose me yet. I've got months. We could spend them fighting. Or we could spend them being honest. What does honest look like? It looks like me admitting I'm terrified you only love my money, and you admitting that you do care about the money and that's okay. That we can both be right and both be wrong and still be family. He nodded, wiped his eyes. I do love you, more than the money. But I'd be lying if I said the money doesn't matter. It does. Not because I'm greedy, but because I'm scared. The world's expensive. Everything's uncertain. And knowing you've built this foundation for us, that's comforting. Losing you is bad enough. Losing you and the security you've provided feels like losing everything. So you wanted the security? Yeah. But Dad, I'd trade it all to have you healthy, to have more time. The money's nice, but you're irreplaceable. I believed him. We talked for 2 hours. About his fears, about my anger, about the test and the trust and what happens next. I'm not changing the trust structure, I said, but I'm willing to modify distributions, make them more generous, give you more control gradually. I don't need control. You need security. I can provide that without making it easy to waste. Fair enough. And David, I need you to understand something. Kelly's in worse shape than you know. She's drowning financially, and she's going to pressure you to find ways to access more money faster. I know. You know? Not the details. But I know she and Michael are struggling. She won't talk about it. Gets defensive when I ask. But yeah, I know. Don't let her drag you into bad decisions. I won't. After he left, I called Kelly. She answered immediately. Daddy? Can you come by? Without Michael? Why without Michael? Because this conversation is about you and me, not him. Pause. Okay, when? Now. She arrived an hour later. Looked worse than David. Makeup couldn't hide the exhaustion. Hey, Daddy. Hey, Kels, sit. She sat. Folded her hands. Waited. I'm sorry, I said. For Friday, for cornering you, for not giving you space to explain. She started crying. I'm sorry, too. For lying. For pretending. For only thinking about money when I should have been thinking about you. You're desperate. I'm drowning. Michael and I were so far underwater. Every month it gets worse. And I keep thinking if I can just hold on until... She stopped. Until I die. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. And Kelly, that's okay. You're in crisis. Of course you're thinking about solutions. But baby, my money isn't going to fix your problems. It could pay off the debt. And then what? You and Michael live the same way, spend the same way, make the same decisions. You'd be bankrupt again in 5 years. That's not fair. It's true. Kels, you've been chasing status your whole life, trying to prove you're successful, but you're not. You're in debt. And no amount of my money will fix that unless you change how you live. She sobbed. I don't know how to live differently. This is all I know. Then learn. Get help. Financial counseling, marriage counseling, something. Because if you don't, you'll waste everything I've built and still end up miserable. What if I can't change? Then you'll learn an expensive lesson. But Kelly, I love you, and I want you to have a good life. But I'm not going to fund a bad one. She cried. I let her. Eventually she looked up. What happens now? Now we spend whatever time I have left being honest. You tell me the truth about your situation. I help where I can, but I'm not rescuing you. You have to rescue yourself. And if I can't? Then you'll figure it out after I'm gone. But Kels, you're stronger than you think. You've just never had to be strong because money's always been the solution. Will I inherit anything? Yes, but not the way you wanted. The trust will give you income, enough to live on, not enough to be reckless with. If you can live within those means, you'll be okay. If you can't, you'll suffer. That's cruel. That's reality. She left an hour later, still crying, but also lighter, like confession had freed something. Rachel watched her go. That was brave. That was necessary. Same thing sometimes. Monday morning, Ellen called. I heard you met with your children. Are you planning modifications? Yes. Increase the quarterly distributions, not dramatically, but enough that David feels secure and Kelly has room to breathe. That's reasonable. I'll draft amendments. You can sign later this week. Good. Mr. Brennan, can I say something? Sure. I've done this work for a long time. Most families wait until it's too late to have these conversations. You're having them while you're still here. That's rare and valuable, even if it hurts. It definitely hurts. I know, but pain with purpose is different than pain without. After she hung up, I thought about that. Pain with purpose. That's what this was. Not revenge, not punishment, just the painful work of being honest before time ran out.